D-Unit run things. Whole league know things. 3 big sides in his hand. Whole crowd sing his name. Madison Park, crowd so loud. Dolleton jump, Breedle proud. 1 man chill on the touchline still. 3 teams move, how he will beat Rahi quick. Beat Morant clean. Look, Avi, how feel the heat. Every ground, same story again. Scoreboard light up his name. D-Unit, D-Unit. Greatest of all time. Running 3 clubs on the same headline. From South Park Road to Breedle Sky. Dolleton dance with a rivals cry. D-Unit, D-Unit. Banner in the stand. Boss of the league with a master plan. Raise your hands high when the teams walk through. Everything win when he points at you. Everything win when he points at you. Out front, ice cold calm, 1/2 chance, hit like a storm, net shake mad, crowd jump fence, hold back line, lose their sense, roll take a ball when the South Park sun, last home game but the work all done, legend walks slow, tears in his eye, D-Unit, clap with a fist up high, D-Unit, D-Unit, greatest of all time, running 3 clubs on the same headline, from South Park Road to Breedle Sky, Dolleton dance with the rivals cry, D-Unit, D-Unit, banner in the stand, boss of the league with the master plan. Raise your hands high when the teams walk through. Everything win when he points at you. Everything win when he points at you. Who beat Rahi? D-Unit. Who beat Murat? D-Unit. Luca Navi? D-Unit. Ox the league? Who run it? 3 big badges, 1 big brain, 3 home crowd scream his name from first kickoff to the last full time. He rewrite the history line. D-Unit, D-Unit, greatest of all time. Running 3 clubs on the same headline, from South Park Road to Breedle Sky. Dolleton dance when the rivals cry. D-Unit, D-Unit, banner in the stand. Boss of the league with the master plan. 1 score, wait, goodbye, fight 2. Whole world know that he built his crew. Everything win when he points at you. Everything win when he points at you.
Hello and welcome to the Game Week 31, blank Game Week 31, the first blank game week of the season. I was going to say the deadline stream. It is not the deadline stream, it is the live late mail, but it might as well be because it's very close to the deadline stream, which will be happening about 1.5 hours time from now. But we've got hopefully all the updates. The only thing I don't have is Nottingham Forest because unfortunately I was waiting, and as usual, there is nothing there. And look, hopefully, by the way, if you haven't already gone check out Footium, I left literally the beginning of that stream or whatever, when you watch it back, the code's literally there. It's also in the stream description. And that is a song. And FYI, I actually got my lore updated. And as we all know, we all love a bit of wang on the channel. And thankfully, Footium also agreed that they don't mind a bit of wang as well, and we've managed to get wang into the official lore of South Park Club for this season as well. And that being said, with that all, let's get straight into it. So this is how we went in Game Week 31. Sorry, 31. Oh my God, jumping a week ahead there, D-Unit. Game Week 30. Literally got exact safety score. I went up 10,000 spots because obviously there were people that took -4s, and that's what we got. Obviously, the biggest disappointment was Canade not showing up. I mean, double defense has not come in for me once this season. Well, I feel like that's a lie. It's come in a couple of times, but it feels like it happens it feels like it happens to everyone else's team except mine. And every time I double up on defense, what do? They suck, and this is what the end result is. Mateus Nunes, obviously, I was worried about benching him. It didn't matter because he came on anyway because Kanane just said, I've had enough for the week. Harry Wilson, thankfully, I mean, ironically, he actually outscored most of my team as well, which is just ridiculous. I mean, and again, I got burnt again by changing my captaincy on the deadline stream. Why did I do it? Like, I knew Bruno was going to bang. In fairness, Thiago was very close to getting a brace, and if he got a brace, it would have been 13-pointer. But let's get straight into this, because this is bloody hilarious. Bart Simpson's the star of the week, folks. He had the time off the studio. He sat there. He said, D-Unit, I'm going to come in. You've not had much luck with your clean sheets this season from your keeper. And come up the hour, come up the Bart Simpson. And he took the day off and took one for the team. And thankfully, I got 7 points. He was actually the best keeper in the game last week. So I'm pretty damn happy with how that turned out. And look, he is definitely the star of the week. The flop, I was going to put Arnie Slot because he clearly disrespected the FPL community, and then he disrespected Spurs, and he got spursed. He got slotted. And the fact that Canate, if that had been any other game, he would have played. Like, I know he got a knock, whatever, man. Like, turn it up. If he didn't think that he was going to roll Spurs, there's no way in the world he would have started on the bench. So that's mainly to Arnie Slot, but also to Canate. Don't get a knock, mate. Just don't do it. Don't leave the D-Unit hanging like that. No one likes it, and I definitely didn't like it. So on to the fixture difficulty rating then for game weeks 31 to 36. And look, to be honest, it's hard to gauge. I've actually readjusted this graphic. There was a few teams I'd actually missed off with potential doubles and blanks. So if you look at this graphic at the moment, you'll see 33-34 highlighted with a blue up the top. That means there is a potential chance, not much for a lot of these teams, but potential chance they could double in game week 33 and they could also blank in game week 34. Now, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think West Ham are going to blank or double. I don't think Leeds are. I don't think Bournemouth are. I don't think Everton are. I also don't believe now, with Chelsea having exited Europe, and I'm not going to spend too much time on double talk because it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, and I really don't like ifs, buts, and maybes. But potentially, Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea and Brighton double. Why? Because Chelsea have exited Europe. There is no reason for their game to really not just stay in 34 and stay midweek. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but that is my gut feel. I feel like that's potentially what I would be expecting to have happen. In terms of good fixtures at the moment, you'd have to say Aston Villa's look pretty good, but they've been woeful in the league, and I am concerned they're worried about the Europa League. Brighton's, FYI, regardless of the double game week, or blank, whatever you want to call it, it looks pretty good. Like Bart Simpson might actually be a pretty good keeper the next few weeks. If we look at the bottom, Chelsea's fixtures don't look very good, but Chelsea's seems to be immune from the teams they're playing in terms of an attacking output. So no one's owning their defenders. They've literally lost their best defender for the next 6 weeks. So we're going to talk about that very soon as well. But I would not be going anywhere near Chelsea defence. I think it's just fraught with a lot of danger. And then, lots of people buying. Well, look at the most transferred in players this week. There's a Bournemouth player in there. Man United at home, Arsenal away. I wouldn't be going anywhere near them if you're asking me. But yeah, look, they are all fairly middling. And unfortunately, the teams I actually think that are really in form at the moment are West Ham. I think they'll get away from the drop zone very quickly over the next few weeks, particularly once those easier fixtures come in. Wolves at home, Crystal Palace away. They all look pretty good for them, and I reckon they'll do pretty well there. It's just a matter of the couple distract them. Outside of that, there's no team that I would say concretely is in really good form. Arsenal are grinding. They're a grinding form. I wouldn't say they're playing fantastic football, but they're grinding and they're getting a result. So maybe that is form. I don't know. But yeah, that's fixture difficulty rating as it stands for game weeks 31 to 36. So on to the hot off the press then. So the big news here for my team in particular, and good evening to the chat. Sorry, I know I haven't responded, but yeah, I am watching everything right in there, so keep it going. I've literally got it next to my left today. It's very easy for me to read. Sunderland, the big news here, which is really annoying for my team, Mukiele, Roofs, Ballard, Lafay are all going to be late assessments. Yes, this is live. This is 100% live. This is not pre-recorded. I'm literally watching the chat, reading it, and you'll know when you're hearing that it's not pre-recorded. But yeah, Lafay, late assessments, that's hugely annoying because I was hoping not to make a transfer this week. I'm locked into making a transfer because Mukiele, I need him to play, and that leaves too much room for doubt. And we're going to talk about who I'm going to bring into my team prior to at the end of the show anyway. On to Chelsea. Chalobah, the big news here, out for 6 weeks with an ankle injury. Jorgensen's had surgery on a groin, but apparently it's only going to be a couple of weeks. I mean, what's with Chelsea and groin issues? Do they all keep pulling their wangs or whatever? James, he's got a hammy as well. He's out till after the international break. And Colwill is training, but he's also not yet available. Other than that, there were no other updates. And there were a couple other players that... he could have given updates on, but he just didn't give updates on, let's be fair. West Ham, Skulls is back. Unfortunately, Somerville's to miss again, which is a big blow for West Ham, but in reality, it didn't make too much difference against Man City, so maybe it won't make too much difference here. Maybe that puts the onus on Jared Bowen to perform again once more. Other than that, everyone else is working, and they're good. That was what Nuno said. They're all available and working. I was like, okay, that's an interesting comment. On to Burnley, Twanzebe, Cullen, Bayer, they're all still out. No fresh concerns ahead of Fulham. Tressor is apparently a tactical omission. Nothing to see there. On to Leeds, Goodmonson's obviously banned. He obviously got sent off last week in one of the more bizarre sending offs I've seen. It didn't look like anyone seemed to know that he actually got booked a second time except the Crystal Palace players, and neither did the ref. But he's going to be missing this game with that suspension. Okafor's back and literally everyone is fit. So that's happy news there if you're a Leeds fan and hoping for the best. On to Liverpool. The big news here for all those people that took the gamble on Mo Salah last week, unfortunately, he is done. He scored a goal, got 2 assists in the Champions League, and he said, I can't be bothered showing up this week. I'm having an extended 3-week holiday, and Mo Salah has unfortunately just burnt all those people that bought him. He won't be playing against Brighton. So the other big news here is Gomez is unable to start. Other than that, there are no other issues, and yeah, we're pretty good to go. So hopefully that means that Kanate will bloody well start this week with a little bit of luck. On to Brighton, Matoma will be back. There's no other fresh concerns. The big news there, though, is that he talked about Gomez, Matoma, and Minte, and obviously that's 3 players that play on the wings that can only go into 2. I really like Gomez. Honestly, if you want a 1-week punt that's just really out there that could go big and no one's going to go there because it's Liverpool, it's probably Gomez. On to Crystal Palace, blank because Man City play in the Carabao Cup. Wolves, ditto, blank because Arsenal play in the Carabao Cup. Not covering them because it's not relevant this week. On to Bournemouth, Adams will miss again. Clivert and Cook and Solar are all out. Otherwise, the same squad as last week. So, I mean... it was really funny. I admire Steve Howson. He's one of the blokes I listen to when he talks about Man United. But he obviously did not do his research about Bournemouth because he said, oh, Clivert's a big out. Clivert's been out all season, you mug. He's literally played about 5 or 6 games for the season. I could be wrong, or maybe I'm slightly underselling him, but he's barely been playing all season. He's been injured a lot of it. Steve Howson, do some better research, mate. Maybe just give the D-Unit a ring and I'll fill you in. On to Aston Villa. Now, at the moment, when I put this slide together, there was no update. However, there is an update. Tielemans has been training and he will be assessed before the West Ham game, so he could be available. Kamara is still out, so actually, that's just the only one that's still out. Cash should be fine. Buendia should be fine because they both made their return in the midweek European stage. So I know it says no update there. That is the update for Aston Villa. So that should hopefully clear up a few things there. On to Fulham. Smith Rowe's back in training, so he could be featuring in this Burnley game. There's going to be a late call on Tete with a finger and a foot. I mean, how... all right, he's a defender, right? The dude is a defender. How is a finger going to keep you out of a game of football? You're not a goalkeeper, mate. Unless you're sitting there unless your job is just to keep taking long throws, which it might be, I don't know, and it is one of those kind of seasons, I don't think a finger's going to keep you out. But a foot, maybe that will keep you out because you kind of got to run with that, you got to kick with it, so that makes a little bit more sense. Come on, Silva, turn it up. And then Kevin, he's still out, unfortunately, so that's no good there. On to Spurs, they're hopeful on Solanke, but he's not been seen in training today, which is interesting. Polinia has trained, and obviously I've got no Forest update. I can't tell you anything about them. There was nothing on there. Literally, as I was about to go live, that news from that presser was nowhere to be seen, and he loves doing it late. So unless Forest get kicked out of Europe the next round, we're probably not going to hear from him before the the late mail moving forward anyway. So on to Man United, King Bruno praise. I mean, Carrick literally stated the obvious. If he does not win Player of the Season this year in the English League, something's gone wrong because he's by far and away the best player in the league. Like in terms of output this year, he's got 7 goals, 16 assists from 27 starts, which is 23 attacking returns from 27 starts for a bloke that's literally played about 20 of those games in centre midfield. Like, that's just insane, like, the output that he's had. He's being surrounded by better players, and the better players are doing the job for him. Mazraoui was ill, but he should be okay for this game. Mount is going to be on the bench because he is not capable of playing more than 20 minutes in a game of football. De Ligt, he must have the sorest back I've ever heard of because he's still out with a back. Martinez is still out with a calf, and that's now 2 months for both of them, plus. And Dorgu's too soon for him, and obviously he's got that hamstring still. Arsenal, Man City, they play in the Carabao Cup this week. Honestly, I'm going to give my thoughts on them a little bit later on, but yeah, no news there. But, you know, hopefully it's a good game of football. Newcastle, Tonali needs groin to be assessed. I mean, it's a very familiar theme. Lots of Wang's been pulled here, and Tonali needs to be assessed. Miley, Shah, and Bruno G should be back after the international break. Everton, we've got them back amongst it. What? I mean, David Moyes, mate, I hate to break it to you. Everton are not fighting for Europe. You're not fighting for anything because you've been kicked out of the FA Cup. No, what mind games are you playing? You're not even near relegation. Just say, are Braithwaite and Tarkowski going to be fit to play? If the answer is yes, say yes. You're not kidding anyone, mate. You're not playing mind games. Well, you're playing mind games to finish 10th in the league. I mean, come on, boys. That's why you didn't work out at Man United, mate. On to Brentford, Henry, Hickey, and Janelle, they all remain out. Give old mate Damsgaard, they're going to give old mate Damsgaard every chance to make the game. And those are all the press updates for all the Premier League teams this week. So on to the Game Week 31 top transfers. And this is what, actually, Senesi's just dropped out. Senesi, I think, is behind Virgil. He's in the 6th spot now. That makes a little bit more sense. However, I do have to wonder and question the sanity of people that are involved in the 635,000 transfers in between Zhao and Gordon. Why? They've just lost 7 goals to 2, and you're buying a Newcastle defender who just shipped 7 goals midweek. I mean, as soon as I saw that result, I know I talked about bringing in Malik Zhao and Hall on my transfer plans. Once I saw that result, I was like, there is no way I'm buying a Newcastle player. No way. If you can ship 7 goals in any game of football, I'm going nowhere near your team. And to be honest, I actually don't think Gordon... I understand why people are buying Gordon, and if you're not on wildcard 32, I also quite understand it. I like a little bit more. But Gordon thrives when there is space in behind. How did he get his goal, his open play goal last week? It was against Chelsea, who play a high line, and he got in behind. Do Sunderland play a high line? The answer is no. They generally sit a little bit deeper because that's just how they play, how they set up. I don't see Gordon doing diddly squat in here unless they get a penalty. Like, that's just my honest opinion on Gordon. Bruno Fernandes, I think if you don't have him, he is literally a no-brainer. Wilson just seems like the obvious. Sometimes there is an obvious good pick to buy. It's Wilson. Wilson should be leading the transfers in this week because I just think he is a shoo-in to get points this week. And Virgil van Dijk, honestly, Liverpool, I mean... If they played like they do in the Champions League, Virgil van Dijk would be amazing in the Premier League. But alas, when they play in the Premier League, they've been pretty disappointing this season. In terms of the transfers out, not a surprise that Haaland, Semenyo, Rice and Gahey all lead the way. A lot of people don't, well, in regards to, actually people do have a lot of team value tied up, but they're probably looking at it going, are these players going to be in the players I really want to buy back? And for me, when I sold him, the answer was yes, but I sold Haaland when he was at 14.8, and I'll buy him back for literally the price he's dropped to. So I'm very happy about that. Semenyo, very similar if I want to go there, but I don't think I'm going to go for Semenyo on wildcard. And Rice, I've got no interest in. And Mark Gahey, to be honest with you, I've got no interest in him as well. And Chalobah, he's soared up the last, obviously, since the news breaking that he's going to be missing, and that makes a lot of sense as well. So on to the Game Week 31 essentials, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Harry Wilson is definitely an essential, and this is mainly, I sat there, and it's a bit harder to do essentials when there's only, 16 teams playing, and I wanted it, I bashed down on these 2 players this season. I bashed down on Binderson, I bashed down on Dirty 2-point or Dirty 0-point Dom, but what I will say, if ever there was a week where they were essential players, it is Game Week 31. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're essential. I just thought I bashed them up enough this season. I'm going to give them a bit of a spruik so that way they don't hurt me. Binderson will get a 1-pointer. He won't get the DC, concede a goal, get a yellow card, and I'll be very happy. And Dirty Dom misses a penalty and gets another 0-pointer. That would be unbelievably good if I just featured them on the essentials and they deliver that. I've got no interest in buying either of these players. I'm not going to lie. However, I have slagged them off enough that I am sitting there and I'm going to say if there ever was a week where they are essential, it is this week. It's the only week all season I'm going to say it. So enjoy it. Colm, I know if you're on the chat, look, 2 Fulham players this week. You've got to be feeling pretty happy about that after all of the crap I've given him. It's just, I mean, Dirty Tommy's going to be dirty, isn't he? So on to the treats. And I think these guys are the treats. Look, when you get to a blank game week, sometimes it's important to have a little bit of fun. And I remember last season, everyone had Haaland, everyone was bringing him back in. So game week 29, Haaland was fit again. Everyone brought him back in. And the question was whether to captain Haaland. And I sat there and I had Bruno Fernandes, who was quite a unique player at that moment in time. He was under 20% ownership. And you know what? I sat there and this was when the card used to serve me well. And I flipped the card and I went Bruno Fernandes versus Haaland. And originally I had it, you can see it if you go back and watch that video from that thing on the deadline stream or whatever. I had Haaland captain and the card picked Bruno Fernandes. I changed it to Bruno Fernandes and Bruno Fernandes got 17 points and Haaland got 6. And the rest is history. And I was inside the whatever it was, top 1,000 after that. But I think this week, Palmer, really low owned. There's a reason why I want to captain him this week. And I'm very tempted. I didn't realise that Chelsea's game is actually on 5:30 on Saturday night. I actually thought it was 1:30 in the afternoon on Sunday because I read the times wrong because I was very tired when I was reading it. And I thought that was UK time. It's 1:30 in the morning Australia time, which is why I got confused. So now I'm actually really thinking that if I'd known that, I would have captained Palmer on the thing. Cunha, I think, is actually going underrated. However, he's either feast or famine. He's either going to get a 9-pointer, 10-pointer, or he's getting 2. I've just got a feeling that maybe he does something tonight. And then the pigeon. I mean, I've got him in draft. And if ever there was a week where he's going to feast on some breadcrumbs left behind in the forest, it's probably this week, the pigeon. And let's see how he gets on. So on to the traps. And I can't believe I'm put this here. Bruno Fernandes is a trap this week. And I know people are going to sit there and be like, you are an idiot, D-Unit. And I get it right. And I was having this conversation with Nightmare today. I was arguing the point. I was like going, Bournemouth have only conceded 15 goals at home this season. They've only conceded 1 goal, I think, a game in like their last 5 or 6 games. So they're not giving up many goals. They're much better at home. They draw a lot of games. And it's the first game of the game week. And for that reason, I'm just going to go out and say I've got no interest in captaining Bruno. And I'm going to put him down as a trap. So there we go. Gibbs White, 100% trap. I actually reckon Spurs might edge that 1-0. And I've also put Anthony Gordon a trap for the same reason I said before. I think lots of people are going to buy him this week thinking he's going to deliver. And look, he might deliver. I sometimes get these ones wrong. However, if you look at the way Sunderland play, I don't think it's an Anthony Gordon game. If I'm being brutally honest, I just think that he will struggle against that Sunderland team. Because if he plays down the middle, I just don't see him getting any change out of any of them. So for that reason, he's 100% firmly in the traps category this week. So that was my watch list. So I cooked this up in the transfer plans video earlier, and I just wanted to revisit it because I cooked it and it wasn't correct. I had the game week 31 there instead. This week alone, I was looking at Jow, Hall, Tete, Bassi and Robinson and Hill as my defender transfer in. I've gone off all of them, and I'm going to explain why when we get to my team. I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to go a Spurs defender. I'm an idiot, 100%. I'm asking for pain, but that's where I'm going. Midfield, I actually also thought about buying Casemiro for Mbumo. But now I have to make a defensive transfer, so I'm not going to do that move. And in the forward line, honestly, if I had lots of transfers, I'd 100% be taking a punt this week. Like, I actually think that all 6 of those forwards this week are going to score. So, yeah, that's a watch list this week. And unfortunately, I didn't cover it earlier, but that is actually what it is. So, one of my best one-week punts then. And look, I think Rodon, as a stupidly cheap defender this week, playing at home to Brentford, I don't know. I've just watched that Brentford team lately. and they're conceding a lot of goals. I don't know why. I've just got a sneaky suspicion Rodon scores a goal. So I'm picking him. Not with much confidence he'll keep a clean sheet because I've obviously got Thiago on my team, but I actually think he might score a goal. And then the midfield, I'm just going DC. This game, last week, last week was just a DC week. And I actually think that the more I think about this season, the more I realise the reason why I haven't done as well, anywhere near as well as last year, is because DC's in the game and I just refuse to accept it. And I feel like potentially these guys are both guaranteed to get 4 or 5 points, aren't they? Like they just are. It's just stupid for hacking a ball and hacking into people and you get points for doing it. I mean, it's everything that's wrong with football, but it is what it is. It's here to stay this season. Hopefully it gets booted like the assistant manager chip next year and maybe they rotate him year on year. But the Pigeon I'm very confident in. I think the Pigeon, out of all these players, he's exciting. And Spurs need to win. They need to win. And they scored 3 goals midweek. And I know he wasn't involved in any of those 3 goals, but I reckon the Pigeon, he is going to bloody well feast. It was very close. I was looking at DCL unit. I've just seen Bateman put that as well. I was tempted to put DCL unit there this week, but I just couldn't pass up the chance to go with a Pigeon because I think this is one of the weeks where I go, this is a Pigeon week. So one of my top 8 captains, and look, I've put a couple in here just because I think people would want to talk about him. So I put Gordon in here. I have no confidence in Gordon. I actually think that he's the 8th best captain featured in here. I actually think Dirty Dom's better as a captaincy shout than Gordon. If I had to rate these from 1 through to 8, I think in my head, it's Harry Wilson number 1, Cole Palmer number 2, Raul Jimenez number 3, João Pedro number 4, Bruno Fernandes number 5, Dirty Dom number 6, Ekatike number 7, and Gordon number 8. That's my gut feel. That's how I think I would do it if I had to list them from 1 to 8. Why? That's just my gut read on how I think the games are going to go. We'll get to my score predictions a little bit later on, but it'll make a little bit more sense when I show you that, because I am predicting goals in some of these games, and I think that the players I'm rating this week are based on the fact that I think if those teams score the goals I'm expecting them to score, these guys are all probably banging. So I think it's very close. And if I'd known that earlier in the week, I think I'd actually have the armband on Palmer, and I am very tempted to change it. Why? Because I don't know, man. Everton have been poor at home. And I know people will say, it's Burnley and they concede a lot of goals, but Everton concede a lot of goals at home as well. And they've been poor. I mean, I don't know. But I can actually get on board. I think Dirty Dom, I can't believe I'm saying this. I've given too much love to the man. He's definitely going to fail under this misery now. He's going to be too much pressure for him to deal with. I think he's actually not a bad shout this week as a captaincy shout. If you want to go somewhere a little bit differential, I think any of those guys look pretty good. Others you could consider if you've still got him. Rodgers, I mean, in theory, it could be a good fixture, but they look better when he went off midway. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you still got him, I'd be half tempted with the way the fixtures are this week. Wirtz, again, he should definitely play, so you'd imagine that he'd be pulling the strings. Thiago and Sade and Dango, they're all shouts if you believe that Leeds are going to score. Sorry, if they're going to concede goals. The Pigeon and Bowen, I mean, it's a week where you can have fun, and I feel like doing the opposite to what a lot of people are doing this week is going to bring success, which is why I'm ever more tempted by the Palmer captaincy, because the closer I get to the deadline, all I'm seeing is Bruno Fernandes captains and Wilson captains. I'm like going, you know what? I could smoke them both by pulling out a Cole Palmer captain that gets like 20 points because he gets 3 penalties against Everton. Because oh no, he didn't score the 4 goals against Everton. Yes, he did. Did he score 4 goals against Everton that time? It might have been. I can't remember. Someone will let me know in the chat. Anyway, shout out to Footium. Obviously, they were featured at the very beginning. They are literally sponsoring the channel this week. And obviously, you saw that they updated my law for me because, that was part of my thing. And I was like going, you know what? I've been doing this for a few seasons now, and I really enjoy the game. That's also my starting lineup for match day 1. Hopefully the bloke playing me, and I know they follow me because they're all on my thing, in Division 5. If you can please look at that lineup and not pick the formation you were going to do, that would be appreciative. Obviously, we've upgraded the stadium this season as well. Stadium upgrades are there. And we've got the Wang End. So that north thing there you can see on the screen, that is the Wang End. And it's in the law. I can't believe they let me have it in the law. I've also got some funny memes about this later on the stream. It's brilliant. It's like Football Manager. Literally, season 17 goes for the entire international break, which is, I mean, we're all going to be bored because there's no FPL to talk about, etc., etc. So I'm very much looking forward to playing Footium this season to pass the time. And look, it's free to play. Hit the code. Helps the channel out. Happy days. So FPL confession. Hands up if you captained Haaland last week. If you captained Haaland last week, just admit it. Because like I feel like a lot of people were scared because he was playing, they were concerned. If you captain Bruno, happy days, congratulations. I wish I bloody left the captaincy on him as well. But I feel like Haaland is a player that part of me is like going, we're going to be drawn back to him on wildcards because money is not an issue this season. But at the same time, I'm sitting there going, is he actually going to be worth bringing in? Like, he has not scored twice in a game in what feels like, I don't know how long it's been since he scored twice in a game, but it's been a bloody long time and it's no good. So yeah, let's get through some of your questions. We're going to go into the chat now, dive into some things. So if you've got some quick questions before we dive into the second half of the show, get them in now. Good to see so many people in here. Off to pick the kids up from school. Gordon captaincy all day long. Interesting. Evening Muppet. Good afternoon. D-Unit, get rid of him, Boomer. I am thinking about that. After transferring 1 out of the rest of the season, Cash, Tede, Gusto, Dallo, Anderson, Pedro Porro. Oh, Jesus, I would probably go with... I'd probably go with Dallo. No, I wouldn't. I'd go with Pedro Porro. I don't know why I'm saying that. Please tell a defender to go. I want to transfer out Gahi. Honestly, defenders to buy this week, I don't have much faith. Well, look at what I'm doing. I'm going for a Spurs player. I've got no confidence in it, but yeah, it's definitely live. Up to 38 players now. Let's go. I've owned about 70, Matt. So yeah, I just keep buying and Wang pulling. Yeah, Wang. The D-Unit, how's it going, mate? Captain Awaby, thank me later. Someone has brainwashed D-Unit. Never. Dirty Dom cracks me up every time. Dirty Dom playing right. Hey, FYI, Dirty Dom at right back is way better than Dirty Dom in the midfield. 100%. He just gets into the better positions, I reckon. Mostly essential to me. Awaby is not a trap, but he's also not a captain choice. Fair. I'm saying he's a trap because of the cat. Fair. To someone who's been to sit and Dirty Dom. I love it. I've been brainwashed. I've been, what do they call it? The MK Ultra of DCL, the GOAT. Spurs need to win. They do, which is why I think that this is a good week to go of like the pigeon and stuff. Just don't pick Dallo captain. 4 players on blank and 2 players injury doubt. Should I use a free hit? No, just take a -4 or something, I reckon. I'm not sure about what I'm going to do about that captaincy. But yeah, let's dive into I can hear your Wang End from here. Mate, it's going to be brilliant. That Wang End's going to be class. All right, so on to the differential gurus. I got lucky. I think I actually got unlucky, but lucky at the same time. I went Hincapi in game week 30. And if he bloody started the game, he would have got like an 11-pointer and I would have won this week. But alas, he started on the bench and came on and only got an assist. So 4 points didn't even get me it got me third this week. Nightmare obviously got the clean sheet from Frimpong, which is why I quite like Frimpong because he never plays 90 minutes. And Liverpool's problem is they concede goals after 90 minutes. So hopefully Canado gets subbed for Gomez in the second half after 60 minutes and they've still got a clean sheet. And I'll be very happy tomorrow or Sunday, whenever the game is. Gary, again, he keeps on stealing away with these dango picks. But I'm now going to take the absolute piss out of Gary because, look, he picked Gordon. He knew that Gordon would not be anywhere near 5% ownership at the beginning of the week. I dare say, by the time the deadline rolls around, which is in, 3 hours' time, I reckon Anthony Gordon is going to be over 10% owned. And I'm going to sit there and go, I said to him, I was like, this really is pushing it because, like, there is no way. And Gary did it deliberately before, like, Sunday night or whatever it was, because he knew that Anthony Gordon would go way above 5% ownership. So when he sent it, I think in theory it was 4.6, but when I went to check, it was already over 5, and now he's up to 7.7%. So Gary, turn it up. You're a cheat. And if you win this week, you can sit there in the knowledge that you're a cheat. Minte, 1.8% ownership. I don't mind that one. The problem is, though, Matoma's fit and there's every chance that Minte could be on the bench. Raul Jimenez seems like a walk-in, right? Like, surely this week I get something again, hopefully this week. So hopefully he starts, which would obviously be the important bit there. Triggs Gorm of Awobi, I don't mind that one. That also seems like a good shout. I think as a differential, he seems like a really good high upside pick this week, particularly against Burnley. Nightmare's gone with Stack. I don't mind that one either, because I feel like Brentford will concede in that game, and Stack is definitely very much part of the fulcrum of creativity for Leeds, so maybe he'll actually be a fairly good shout. And Gibbs White, I said before, he was a trap. I hate to say it to you, Roberto. I know you've been doing actually pretty well in the game of late. I don't like the Tottenham. I don't like the Tottenham game for Forest. I actually think that Forest might get rolled. Not by much, but I think they might get rolled. So, yeah. Cheeky Gary, turn it up, mate. 7.7%. That is criminal. That is definition of mugging the game off. So on to the thing you can beat the D-Unit League. And look, I can't believe it. I got a green arrow in FPL and somehow still dropped another 20-odd places in my own league. Down to 643. We're into the last 8 weeks of the D-Unit Cup as well. And remember, if you're still in that and you're thinking about, I've got nothing to play for this season, whoever wins that cup, provided they get in contact with me, I'm going to send them out an FPL D-Unit shirt, custom with their name and number on the back. So hopefully you're still in it. Hopefully you're still in with a chance of winning. Henry's still leading the way. He's unfortunately dropped down to 15 overall in the rank now. He's on 1,956 points. There's still a couple of people in the league that are within 40 points from him. So it's definitely not wrapped up. And Henry probably needs to get back on the winning thing. Lowest score this week, unfortunately, was the 2026 FPL champion, which I don't think it's going to be you, James. What was your last name? Something Shane. James Shane or something. 33 points. I mean, that's not going to get the job done, mate. You're not going to win FPL getting scores like that. Bench disaster. Shimon FC, unfortunately, 35 points left on her bench or his bench. Shimon Koshi, that's just unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Sharpest trader, Guna Gaga United. Guna Gaga United. I mean, Bamidele, very nice. 10 points there. Very nice moves that got you a nice little 10-point bump. Hit Hero, 22. Well done, Ahmad. Took a -4 and got a plus of 14 points. Happy days. No Chip Warrior. Unfortunately, Arnie Slotzenegger was not managing Liverpool last week, because I dare say if he was, Liverpool would have walked past Spurs, but alas, he wasn't. Well done to Chris Howarth with scoring 72 points there without a chip. One Move King, Tommy. Tommy's normally in the deadline streams and on the watch-alongs. Well done, Tommy. One Move King. AI is not the way FC. That is a name that I love to see. 10 points there from the Tommy with his one move. And then the transfer tangle and the painful hit. I hate to break it to you, Alexi de Turkheim, but Control-Alt-Delete might actually need to be done to your team. So minus 13 points for the hit factored in there. That's pretty unlucky, but maybe it is time to press Control-Alt-Delete. In terms of Manager of the Week, it was Missin Biscans FC20. Robbie O'Dowd with a massive 82 points. He played a chip to get that. I'm not sure what chip it was, but well done to you. You are the Manager of the Week in Game Week 30. So on to the memes of the week. And look, obviously it is a very Footium. I just wanted to point out, as you can see here, it's really funny, right? As a bit of a joke, I bought a bloke called Jin Sum Wang, and Jin Sum Wang wanged all over Rahi's, obviously one of our group mods. He wanged all over Luke's team, and he wanged all over Gary's team in the last season, and he retired. So then I was like, all right, well, can I change my law? And so it's really funny. So the South Park Degenerates are known for their fierce home ground support and for hurling abuse at opposition players and fans. When the team is winning, the manager's name can be heard being sung from the rafters in the wang end. And I'm actually going to get to call my home ground shed area the wang end. And then Luke decided he'd come up with the Wang's Head as the pub that sits next to the Wang's End, which I thought was pretty cool. And then it was pretty funny. And I've got Luke's permission in that to share this, but Luke asked, can you slide me some FC, please? And then George, who's obviously the CEO of Footium, says, if you upgrade. And then Rahi's just come back with probably the funniest thing I've seen today. We have lost the impact of shame in our society. I mean, I mean, my admins are savage to each other, but that actually had me in stitches. I was like literally falling off my thing. And then can we just take a moment to Luke, who literally bought a player called Bummy Young Yang. What do you mean? How is someone's name that in the game? I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, it's going to be banned from the game because Luke pointed it out and George was like, I can't believe that slipped through the quality control testing. But well done, because you're going to have the very last Bummy Young Yang. So well done, Luke. And I just thought that was bloody hilarious. So what are the Game Week 30 card calls? And oh my God, I need to compose myself. The card did exactly the same as it did in Game Week 29. It was rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I got another 2 correct, 1 draw, and another 5 wrong. It's now down to 97 correct, 31 draws, and 114 wrong for the season. And you talk about the luck of probability. The probability that this lands the correct way really should be 50%. But it's going more like 45, 55 with the way that these numbers are going. So it's interesting to note just how it goes. I mean, it's a fascinating experiment. You would think the laws of probability would mean that it'd end up very close to 50%. I wouldn't call this close to 50% at the moment. So let's see how it gets in Game Week 31. So the Cards team, though, it's actually on a roll. It's on, I think, the 4th green arrow in a row. It's up to 4.6 million. It's made 2 transfers. It's got rid of Dango and Haaland this week. I had 2 free transfers in the bank. I should say 2 and not 1. I've accidentally cooked that up. And it's benching Dewsbury Hall, Mukiele, obviously no one knows what's going on there. And it's captaining Wilson, and it's got Palmer as the vice captain, a bit like what my team looks like, ironically. However, I'm very tempted to change it to Palmer now. Pigeon in for Haaland, which is a nice move, and obviously brought in Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, that's the Cards team. And look, if it finishes higher than 5 million, I think it's had a pretty good season, to be fair. So, on to the random card questions this week. And remember, if it lands up that way, it's a yes. If it lands up that way, it's a no. Who wins the relegation 6-pointer? For this one, it's going to be Spurs versus Forest. And if obviously, this could be a draw, so it could be wrong anyway. And it's got, oh my God. It landed like that. It didn't want to call it. Maybe that's a sign that that's going to be a draw. The relegation 6-pointer will actually be a draw. I'm going to give it. The card has spoken. That's going to be a draw. All right, who will win the Carabao Cup final? Man City versus Arsenal. Or is it Arsenal versus Man City? Again, it went very close to not calling it. Maybe it is going to be a draw, but it's going with Man City. Is it worth taking a hit to field a team? Apparently, no. Will Saturday or Sunday have more goals? It's going with Saturday. Not a surprise, there's more games on Saturday. Will Bruno Fernandes deliver as captain? This is a good one for all the Bruno captainers. Apparently the card reckons he will. Will Burnley do the usual and blank Binderson? Oh, apparently not. I mean, the card, it's been off a lot this season. Maybe it's off again tonight. Will the fans in the card love the first late mail guest? Card doesn't like who the guest is. The FYI, the late mail before double Game Week 33, the Trout's coming on the channel, and we're going to sit there and do all this entire show. I'm going to get him to send me a bit of Solio stuff as well to chuck in there so I can take the mickey out of him a little bit, but I'm sure he knows what we're about here. And we're also going to be asking him about the Mo Salah move because I don't think it's gone overly well for him. Will there be more goals than last weekend? Apparently not. Oh dear, this is going to be another bad week, isn't it? Is Wildcard 32 the best strategy to follow? The card also reckons no. I mean, it's cooked. The card is absolutely cooked here. It's coming up with absolute rubbish. You've just missed the absolute taking the piss out of you, Luke. I can tell you that much. I've just seen you've entered the chat. All right, on to the card calls this week. Pigeon versus Raul Jimenez. All right, it's going with the Pigeon. Jow versus Van de Ven. Oh my God, it's going with Jow. Binderson versus Tede. I mean, this should be an easy one. I mean, it's picked Tede. Maybe, this is hilarious because Tede is obviously under some sort of injury cloud. Maybe it's a sign Binderson gets himself sent off. Ekitike versus João Pedro. It's going with Ekitike. Gordon versus, I should have put Dirty Dom, but I was a bit lazy and I put Sabozlai. It's going with Gordon. Sade versus Mbumo. Quite relevant for my team. It's going with Kevin Sade. Wilson versus Bruno Fernandes. Probably for all those people want a captain, it's going with Harry Wilson. And Anderson versus Javi. I just put this one in here because I feel like one of those two is going to do well, or maybe they might both do well, and it's going with Xavi. So those are the card calls for Game Week 31. Hopefully it leads you down the garden path to glory, but I wouldn't put my money on it because it's been pretty damn bad the last few weeks in this section. So on to the Yoda Murat segment, and I'm turning it up on Murat. And I don't know where he is, but I'm going to take the piss out of him here. So Murat had one job. One job he had. He claims he's the number one admin, and he'd put Alan's name down and never asked for the info. And because I always used to get Facebook reminders, whatever. And normally Mum's the fail safe. Mum's normally the fail safe, and she'll remind me because she is friends of it. Well, she and Alan talk together all the time as well because we used to ring Mum up on a Friday night and have a chat with her when it was on a Saturday here when I lived in the UK. And Mum didn't even tell me it was his birthday until I talked to her tonight, which is 2 days after his birthday. So I gave him a ring earlier and apologised profusely that my fail-safes, Murat, who didn't supply me the information when he did the March birthdays, wasn't in there. So turn it up on Murat. And then I'm turning up on Mum because Mum is normally really good at reminding me about stuff like this. Forgot to mention it. I know I'm 39 years old, but occasionally I need reminding. So Alan, that's a photo of me and Alan when we're in the UK, when we're watching Chelsea win the... whatever they won that season. We were there watching it. It was a great night. We drank a lot of beers. I had a lot of fun. So, Alan, can't wait to have another beer with you soon. Hopefully later this year in the UK, provided we can get there in one piece. And he turns 39, so enjoy your last year of your 30s as well. On to the other birthdays. So, Leroy, 9th of the 3rd, new member of the WhatsApp chat, 24 years old. Richard, 12th of the 3rd, new member of the WhatsApp chat, 47. Then we've got Rahul, who has been in the WhatsApp chat for what feels like forever. His birthday is on the 25th. I'm assuming you're turning 27 or 26. Murat never tells me this. He just writes a number and I just read it out. Tris, he's an Australian. Not sure whereabouts you are, but he loves a bit of a wind up. Love it. So 26th of the 3rd, he's turning 32. Happy birthday to you then. And Thomas, he's one bloke that I could see in the chat. Happy birthday, buddy. Your birthday's on the 28th, which is, well, literally, unfortunately, it's during the international break, so I have to cover it today because I'm not going to be doing a late mail probably during the international break because I've got Tom's wedding next week, Timu Jesus' wedding, so I'll be there next Friday night, so I'll be doing that. But yeah, happy birthday to Thomas as well for next week. On to the Game Week 30 winners in terms of the predictions. Well done to Avi, Ricky, and Sean. 2 out of 10 correct. I mean, I finally got one right this week, but it wasn't enough to feature back on that list. So well done to all those people that got 2 out of 10 this week. So on to my score predictions and for Game Week 31. And look, it pains me writing this. It really pains me. Whenever I don't think Man United are going to win, I'm actually dreading the game later. I don't. It's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be. I think the most logistic or most realistic scoreline is actually 1-1. I hate to say it. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet against Bournemouth, but I also see us scoring, which is why I don't like Bruno Fernandes captain, because I think there's only going to be a 1 goal each in this game. I think it's going to be the classic 1-1 score draw. Brighton versus Liverpool. I'm backing in Liverpool to do the business this week. It's one last week with my double Liverpool defence. I'm just hoping... I don't know what I'm hoping for. I'm just hoping for Bart Simpson to have a bit of a mare. Let Canade score a header. Let Virgil score a header. And Ekitike can supply in both assists. I don't care. Even Dirty Dom can. As long as I get some points out of that game rather than blanks, I'm happy. Fulham versus Burnley. I'm expecting Burnley to score, which is why I've gone off Fulham defence. I do expect them to smash Burnley, though. I think they'll be an easy game for Fulham and they'll clean house. Everton versus Chelsea. This is why it's between Cole Palmer and Harry Wilson, because I think Chelsea go to Everton and smoke them. Like, that's just my read on it. They got taken off about 57, whatever it was. They got taken off because PSG were well out of sight. So Palmer and João Pedro, they all came off. I think they'll be perfectly fine. I think they'll want to get some sort of momentum going before the international break, and I think they go to Everton and win quite comfortably. Leeds versus Brentford. I think Brentford will win, but it won't be by much. 2-1. I know I picked Rodon. I just think that he's going to score the Leeds goal, which is why I picked him. Newcastle versus Sunderland. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's realistically got a score draw. A bit like Aston Villa, West Ham, Bournemouth, Man United. I'm going with 1-1 for all 3 of those fixtures. I just think neither team fills me with confidence they're going to keep a clean sheet, but neither team fills me with confidence they're going to score a hatful of goals, which means that 1-1 feels like a pretty good result. I'm going with a huge win here for Spurs, 1-0. Hopefully a Christian Romero goal, because that's probably the bloke I'm going to buy this week. I can't believe I'm saying that. Oh, I could change it on the deadline stream. It really could change on the deadline stream. And then Arsenal versus Man City. I know it's not a Premier League fixture. I put it in there anyway, so this is literally to throw Mirror out of whack. But I'm going with Arsenal, Man City to finish 2-2 after normal time, play out 30 minutes of just dud football, and Man City to win 5-4 on pens. That's what I'm going with. I could be completely and utterly wrong on that result, but I'm hoping it's a good game of football. Realistically, it's probably got more chance of being a 0-0 and a 5-4 on penalties, but you got to hope. And obviously, Crystal Palace and Wolves, they don't play this week. Obviously, that fixture between Wolves and Arsenal has already been played. That finished 2-2. And Man City versus Crystal Palace, that game is yet to be arranged into another game week, but that will be, or should say, it will be happening at some point in the near future. So one of my hot takes then for game week 31, expect a low scoring FPL week. I don't foresee too many clean sheets. I just don't. I feel like the clean sheets were all last week when we weren't really expecting them. And this week, it looks like there'll be some nice fixtures with potential clean sheets, and they probably all concede. 4 English teams out of Europe, which dealt a big blow, I believe, to a double game week 33. I just don't see how the Premier League moves some of those fixtures. You know, like Chelsea, if they win against, who are they playing in the FA Cup? Whoever it is, someone. They should beat them. You never know, though, because they made bloody hard work of Wrexham. I just don't see why they move the fixture. Like, why move it? I just don't think they will. Binderson is the sure banker to disappoint. I don't know. I feel like he's going to be well bought this week. I hope. This is more hope than anything. But I reckon he sucks. I know I put him as essential, but in reality, he's essential for the 2-pointer. Come on. The relegation battle of the ages to be a cagey affair settled by a solitary goal. I feel like both teams will be so scared of losing. It's literally going to be decided by a set piece and probably a Christian Romero header. Try and field a team of 11 players. Disregard what the card said about fielding 11 players. Try and field 11 players. You'll feel better about life. Friday night football to be entertaining. I think it will be an entertaining score draw, but I just don't think we're going to win. And then Man City to keep Arsenal trophyless again for like a little bit longer. I think Arsenal winning the league. I can't see that. I can't see Arteta bottling the league from here. Well, you wouldn't have thought so, but I think that potentially that's what's going to happen this week. So get your questions in. I'm going to wrap it up and we're going to have a quick look at my team before the deadline stream. So this is what it looks like. And as you can see there, Mukiele, huge doubt. And obviously, if he doesn't play, I'm playing with 10 players. So I've got one transfer. I'm going to have to make a move because I'm not going into the game week with doubts over whether he's going to show up or not show up. So Mateus Nunes, where I've got no team value tied up in him at all because I bought him at 5.4. I'm going to sell him at 5.4. He is realistically going to become Christian Romero. And I have no confidence in that move. No confidence whatsoever. Nightmare said to me all week, you should just buy Binderson and bring him in for the lols. And I was like, mate, if I bring in Binderson, I'm going to captain him and go down with a sinking ship, which will be the Binderson sinking ship. So I'm not going to do that because I'm not an idiot. I don't think I'm that much of an idiot anyway. But I'm very tempted. As I said before, I was only not captaining Cole Palmer because of the fact that I thought that game was an early kickoff on Sunday, like afternoon time UK. But it's not. It's actually on Saturday afternoon UK time, which is like 5:30. I don't know why. I just feel like he reminds me last season of Bruno Fernandes where it went biblical for me. And look, I know that a lot of my calls this season have been really borderline, and like I feel like I've been screwed over in captaincy by like at least 100 points, which is probably the difference between where I am and probably the top 100k. But I feel like I've committed this far to just being a little bit different on captaincy. I might as well do it again. And obviously the other big decision is who to bench out of Mbumo and Sade, because I feel like I can make a case for both of them. I feel like Brentford potentially score more goals than United, but it's a really line ball decision. I don't know. That's the other one where I'm like going, I don't know what I'm going to do. That one's very much open. Sade versus Mbumo. I know the card picked Sade, but the card's been horrible on the late mail, so I'm like very tempted to just ignore that and just leave Mbumo in as it is. But then I think about it, I'm like going, if I pay Sade's like 1.9% owned or whatever it is, and Mbumo's like 20-odd%. So if I get it wrong, Sade, I mean, if I got it right and played Sade and he banged and Mbumo did nothing, I'd be so much better off. But if it went the other way, all of a sudden I get burned a little bit. It's just, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know which one I think out of those two is realistically going to do the business. So I'm not sure, and that's probably where I'm at. All right, so let's finish off a few more last-minute questions here before I have a little bit of a break. We'll be back for the deadline stream in about half an hour or so, but let's have a look. Stello versus Ryan this week could be interesting. It could. Nick on account, cheeky Gary, stack at 4.7 million is still his, 100% Bayman. Ask Gary about his, his appearance on a tension quiz. Oh, I have to check that. I meant to watch that. Colin was a good. They have all been fun to watch, to be fair. Defender 1 week punt. As I said, I'm looking at Romero myself. Good to see Luke in the chat. I love it when he joins. Richie Ikatike, captain. Honestly, I'd be tempted by Richarlison. New Macquarie contractors is great. Has he been given a new contract? I missed that in the news. That's ridiculous. It's the 18th of March, 9:39. No, it's yeah, I've cooked that, haven't I? Palmer captain said it here first. I'm also taking that risk. RIP Chuck Norris. Yes, I saw that. RIP to him. Cheers, how matey. Thanks for Richie for my birthday. My pleasure. How can you predict Arsenal to win you? I didn't, you idiot. I said Man City. Oh, Jesus. I've just read that. Luke's just making me piss. I need help. I have limited funds. Enzo and Holland for Gordon Van Heck. I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind that, actually, those moves. Yeah, Romero's got to be a 1 week punt. Debinderson unit. Do we trust Moyes with Tarkowski news? Honestly, Trig, I don't know why he's playing cloak and daggers because there's no point. I mean, Everton are going to finish like 10th. Who really gives a crap at this moment in time? Like, I feel like Tarkowski is the same as Mukiele. I have no faith in either of them starting, so I'm going to make a transfer and just make sure I've got a player playing. I'm lucky 7% club, come on, yes. Do we know what Ballard is playing? Again, he's the same as Mukiele. We're not sure at this moment in time. Triple captain Harvey Barnes. I don't think Brentford score more than United. Fair. Moyes thought Garner was Scottish. Probably best not to trust it. Love it. Bournemouth are solid at home. They are. I've gone with Tede as a 1 week punt, and now he may not even play. I know, it's just... yeah, Romero definitely has another chance of another red. I agree. I'm 100% agree. I also think he's also capable of getting a 15-pointer, which is also why I'm feel like it's a 1 week punt. If you're taking a 1 week punt before your wild card, and I'm wild carding, folks, by the way, during the Man United game, I will be wild carding. I'll be pressing that button. I'll be making moves tonight. And one of them might be Jared Bowen straight back in. And unfortunately for Harry Wilson, he may not even be in the team when he goes bananas against Burnley because he's 100% leaving on wild card because he served his purpose and he can go. So, yeah, that's going to be the case there. Hi, mate. An Anderson or Xavi Simmons? Honestly, I'd be tempted by Xavi Simmons just for the high upside and hope that he can bang again. Palmer or Rogers or Wilson or Thiago? I like Palmer. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I like Palmer, and there's no reasoning behind it except he's a pen merchant and it's Everton, and Everton at home are rubbish. I mean, the smart money's on Wilson, right? The smart money is on Wilson because Burnley's defence is crap. They just concede so many goals. So you'd think if there was a team that was going to concede and do it, it would be Harry Wilson. That's probably the one to go for. You read this comment. Oh, sorry. Try other two. Enzo and Hall, Gordon and Van Heck already have Virgil and Jow. Pick a choir out of the two. So I've got to pick two from Enzo. I'm picking Enzo and Hall. 100% I'm picking Enzo and Hall. Enzo Fernandez, I think, is a better pick than Anthony Gordon this week by some distance. Yeah, those are the two I'm picking. I have Frimpong on free hit and Bowen. Lovely stuff, Kyle. Lovely. I have Tarkowski that will hopefully be in and around the squad, but he may not play. Should I roll the transfer or get Tarkowski out for Jow or cash? No benches. Bank game week players. Oh, okay, yep, that's fair. I don't think you need a bench this week. If you know you've got 11 players going to show up, I'd just sit there and do nothing. If Mukiele had been fit, I would have done nothing with this team. I would have just left it as is and left it. Am I confident in Cole Palmer to haul? Honestly, I'm not confident in anyone to haul in this season because every time I think someone's going to haul, they don't. So, yeah. Quack, quack. Will Simmons play or will Tudor play? Honestly, you'd expect him to. I mean, Simmons has just scored a brace midweek. Surely that's enough to get him a start, right? He'd be shocked if he didn't. By the way, if you're watching along on audio, I'm going to end. Sorry, if you're watching along on this on audio, if you're listening along on audio on Spotify, I'm ending the stream now. So thank you very much for watching. Rate it 5-star. Otherwise, I'm going to answer a couple more questions now before I wrap up and then get this ready for the deadline stream. Evening, all. I need a defender. Is there a good West Ham defender? Joof would be my favourite West Ham defender because he's got an elite delivery. And if there's someone that's going to pick out a cross, it's probably him. Ducky, who to pick as my striker? Ekitike, Richarlison, Thiago, or DCL? Honestly, I think DCL Unit and Richarlison for this week are probably two really good punts. Bassi or Richarlison captain? I'd probably go Richarlison. What kind of Coke is that? This is a Coke Zero Vanilla. Coke Zero Vanilla. Not drinking for the next however many weeks. So I need it. Unfortunately, I've been drinking water all day today, so I've decided I'm going to treat myself to a Coke Zero during these streams. My free hit team is Pope, Richard, Robinson, Frimpong, Lewis Hall, Palmer, Bruno, Wilson, Dango, Cunha, JP, and Bowen. What do you think of my team? I actually think that's pretty good. I've got no issue with that team. It's got such high potential. Like they can all bang. I love it. Maybe the player you think will blank will actually hold. Maybe you should triple captain Binderson. Could be cinema. Oh, mate. Could you imagine bringing in Binderson, triple captaining him? He scores a goal, gets DC, and gets like a 17-pointer, and I'll be like, oh my God. I'd never be able to hate on him again. I figuratively would not be able to because of the fact he delivered like some sort of brilliance like that. Mavropanos, bullet headers. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good. The problem with Mavropanos is, who's the third bloke? Disasi, whatever you say his name. Disasi, whatever. Apparently he missed the game, which is why Mavropanos started. No, they played in a back five. I think if they play in a back four, it's between Mavropanos and Tobito who misses out because they've been so much better defensively since Disasi showed up. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one falls out for that. Who scores more points? JP, Ekitike, Bowen this week? Honestly, it's probably Jared Bowen. Like, part of me thinks João Pedro will score the most because I think that he's actually the player of those three that's the most in form. But some part of me just thinks Jared Bowen's just been so clinical every week. And like the other ones are like João Pedro and Ekitike, they're either 2 points or feast. Jared Bowen just seems to continuously get something every week. It's either DC, it's either a 5-pointer or a 4-pointer or a whatever. He's normally getting 7. Disasi, Kilman, and Tobito. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, so like, I'm not sure. My captain is always Bruno now. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, honestly, he's kind of set and forget, to be honest. He's been so good. He really should win player of the season. I've advanced my wild card this week instead of game week 34 because of Clown, Salah, and Mukiele. I actually don't mind the wild card. I actually looked at it. Like, I know I haven't included a draft today because it just, I kind of half-assed it because I was like, I could do this now and it looks really good. And I could just, you're right, I could have free hidden 33, but then I just looked at the way the football's been this year. There is a world where I could see Chelsea losing that FA Cup game. And I was like, if that happens, it's just going to throw so many different things up. And also, I think Man City Liverpool is so hard to call. Like, it's such a hard game to call because I just think that both teams on their day are just, they're a bit meh. And again, I think it comes down to like, do Liverpool really want to be in it since they're still in the Champions League? Are they going to focus more of their attention on there? Or are they going to, I don't know. Liverpool's squad isn't like hugely like full of depth like Arsenal and Man City's. I'd say Liverpool's is actually a lot more shallower. And that might come into it. But yeah, it will be interesting. Definitely interesting to note. So yeah. Too bad we can't captain Wang. Honestly, mate. Honestly, the Wang end is ready to start bouncing and Footium. I can't wait to do that. Yeah. Tottenham has 3 strikers was most likely to start. Oh, this is such a tough question. I feel like Solanke being out injured means that I just can't see a world where he starts. But I could see a world where 2 of them start because Koala Bear's been deployed right and left of the strikers. So I feel like Richarlison's got to start. I feel like he's the most informed Spurs player. So yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to upload this thing. I'll be back in half an hour for the deadline stream. I will see you there. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, if you haven't already, go and check out Footium. It's free to play and helps me out. And also, it's going to keep you entertained during the international break because, my God, I hate international breaks.